Ready to start here. Yeah, doing presenting can be really challenging, and Amy has been with us all day, so she's done an absolutely fantastic job. Can we also give a massive thank you, of course, to Tom, right? Yeah, who has been sorting out, and I don't know your name, sorry, on the sound. Monroe, on the sound, for helping us out this afternoon. Let's give a big round of applause. So, my name is Neil Valentine. I'm a viola player and music leader, and along with my colleague Damien, we've been here all day and yesterday, and you were here on Thursday as well, weren't you? Yeah. Has anyone been here more than one day, or are you all one day? Okay, fantastic, good stuff. Well, as a music mentor, it's fantastic. We just get to listen to some lovely music, have a nice time, and then at the end of the session, we get to talk to you and tell you how wonderful you are. And you want to stick around because both Damien and I are excellent at our jobs, so you want to listen to what we have to do. So the way this works essentially is that we talk about each group, and then at the end of talking about a group, we give a massive round of applause, and then we need somebody from each group who's prepped and ready to come up and shake a hand and collect a certificate, that kind of thing. Does that work? Is that okay? Just make sure the group leaders know you can fight over who's going up. We had the Battle of the Harps and the Battle of the Brass today. It was really nice. I hope you got to hear. It's one of the wonderful things about Music for Youth is you get to hear other groups of similar ensembles and different kind of ensembles. So we hope you listen to each other and were inspired by the journeys different groups are on. It's a really wonderful thing, and I certainly learn a lot. Right, we started the session with the Cardiff and the Vale Harp Ensemble. Where are you guys? Some of you here, oh yes, with the red bands, and some of you over here, fantastic. Absolutely wonderful stuff. I mean, you're at an advantage, aren't you? Because the harp, you could just sit there and do this on the harp for 15 minutes and the audience would be happy. So that's wonderful. So well done for you for doing that. And congratulations to all the mums and dads for having really massive cars. But more than that, you set up very professionally, you were very organised, it was very clear. You were very patient and waiting. You were looking at each other. You looked really professional. You've made effort in the way you're dressed and the way you set up. We were expecting something lovely to come out on the musical side because of the way you set yourselves up, and that makes such a difference to an audience when you have a group of musicians who have thought about how they're going to present themselves, thought about how they're going to be. You look very patient and prepared. You look confident, and that put us at ease. It put myself at ease, and I was like, yeah, this is probably going to be good. You gave us 3 pieces: Denver, Edelweiss, and Off She Goes. All of these pieces had a really lovely feel to them. They all had a real sense of unity, of unification. All the arpeggios that we heard were all together, a real sense of ensemble, of listening. You were following your conductor really well. She was being very clear with her signals, and we were watching and we were following. You were responding when the hand motions were going down or when they were a bit bigger. So there's a real sense of communication between you and your conductor along the line, and then to us in the audience. There was a lovely section changes in Denver. I think there were 3, maybe 4 sections. We had some different time signatures. I know there were different moods, and that can always be challenging in a group, negotiating how you go from one to the other. If there's not a clear break and you don't get a chance to reset, and you flow from one section to the other with ease. My favourite bit was the kind of languid, kind of sad 3/4 bit in the middle. There was this real kind of dark quality. I don't know whether you had changed your striking point on the strings, maybe to kind of create a different colour of sound, whether that was deliberate or whether that was just happened in the moment. There was a really nice change of colour in that section, so yeah, wonderful. And the final section was beautifully dramatic, which was fantastic. Edelweiss was lovely. It's always a risk when you do a song like Edelweiss, because everybody knows Edelweiss. Everyone knows it. It's in the public consciousness. We know it. We can spot mistakes. Anything. Oh, yeah, I heard that. There were none. It was beautifully done. Congratulations to your lever harp players on this side who had the melody for most of the time. It was really together. The dun, dun, dun. There's loads of space in that melody. You can't guess where the next note is. You were really rhythmical and followed each other, so congratulations on that. And Off She Goes had this flowing sense of performance, this lovely 6/8 flow. it was beautiful. There was a real sense of unity, some lovely melodic lines. It was a thoroughly enjoyable performance. There's not really much, I mean, there's one thing we can say to everybody. You know what you're allowed to do when you're on stage? You can smile, unless you play the brass instrument, in which case it's a bit tricky. You have to do it with your eyes then. I'd love to see some more smile, even if it's between numbers or at the end. Smile is really, really important, and because you're not playing a brass instrument, you can smile and play the harp at the same time, or at the very least you can look kind of pensive and moody and serious, and then, yeah, like that, yeah, and then smile at the end. Yeah, we'd love to see a few more smiles. I'd also love to hear a more contrasting, because all of your music was very flowing and lyrical and played to the heartstrings. I would love to have heard something that had more kind of, I don't know, staccato or big chords or silence in it or something. I don't know, just a small sort of something to change the vibe slightly. But that's a very small thing because it was a thoroughly enjoyable performance. Can we please give a massive round of applause to the Cardiff and Vale Pop Ensemble? Keep going, please.
Hey.
Thank you, Neil. So that leads nicely on to a thought, actually. What do you do if you can't smile? What do you do if you can't smile? Well, there are other things you can do. I always wish I could quote some statistic on this, but I can't, so I'll just make one up. We hear with our eyes, right? As this has been proven, and we communicate so much with our bodies. So we read each other's body language all the time. So why wouldn't you read body language on stage? So if you can't smile, what I want to say to the brass group is, I'll do my little demonstration that I did for the strings a little while ago. If I sit really back in the chair like this, I'm kind of not in a very active position. It's not so easy to move around or do anything. Also, my shoulders can go down. Shoulders going down if you use your lungs for your instrument. Not a good thing. So, this isn't a criticism of the group, this is just general good practice for you here. So, if I want to use my body language more, well, it helps if I sit forward and get my feet grounded. Now I can move around. I can communicate with the trumpet player next to me and play more with them and say, this is fun, isn't it? We've got a little bit together. Come on, let's take it together. And then there's a sort of a sense of fun in the way we're interacting, even though I can't smile. So I can kind of use other things. I can put my shoulders in a good position, so I'm using my lungs really well, not forced or anything, just relaxed. Never a good idea to have the head too far over either. Get your music stand where it's good to be in a nice relaxed position at the back. So this kind of thing about gesture with each other is really important in chamber music where we don't have a conductor. You know, when you go to see an orchestra, there's maybe 50 people on stage. It's all dividing your attention. You're not really looking hard at one person. If there's 5 people on stage, well, you've got a lot more focus on what they're doing. So in chamber music, if you watch a string quartet, you'll see some really different kind of communication than in an orchestra where people are sometimes kind of miles from each other and so on. So it's a different musical world, and it's a really fun way to make music, and it's been brilliant to have this session today. I will talk a bit more specifically about the Kings of Wessex Brass Ensemble now. Where are you? Kings of Wessex, over here, right in the corner.
Great name.
Great name.
Great name.
Yeah, great name. Yeah, love it. And you played some good music as well, kind of good training music really, with lots of sort of core things, so lots of articulation, rhythmic playing that has to be very precisely combined. So like the first piece that you played, it was a suite about the night sky, so the different constellations and so on. Excellent intonation in that fanfare, bam, bam, answering each other, that rising little figure to begin with. Good pointed use of staccato. Staccato, everybody, is when we shorten the note value. Tenuto is where we hold it for its full length. So we make it as long a sound as we can, up until we have to play the next one. And they're doing this really well, so it's different kind of tonguing, different use of breath, poses different challenges when you start to combine them really fast, like too smooth and them too short. So, which you hear a lot in Mozart, and we heard it a lot earlier on. Actually, one of the wind groups had a lot of that. You've got good use of breath in the crescendo. A crescendo on a wind instrument involves more air going through to make the sound louder. So, and you didn't have, in your repertoire today, you didn't have a lot of very long notes to blow, really, did you? It was kind of a lot of rhythmic work, which is good. And I'm sure you do play other things as well. Brass is very famous for sort of chorale type choral styles as well. So, but good communication. So I was saying about that way that you sit helps to communicate, because we don't just communicate with the leader. That's not how it works. When there's chamber music, the leader changes all the time. It might be the tuba that's the most important part. The horn might be the most important part for a little bit, in which case we all focus on what the horn player is doing. So it's changing all the time. So that's why it's good to get that in the habit of moving with the piece. Right, this is more important. I'm in the background. Hey, I'm in the foreground now. My part's important. I'm gonna stamp my authority a bit on this. That I think that's something for all the ensembles that we've heard today. Really, good intonation. I thought that was great, and I love the blending of your muted sounds with the open sounds. The attention to detail was there. I've put dare you be even more extreme with your dynamics. I mean, when you drop down to piano, there's always a bit of a risk involved with these things. If I play it too quietly, then my lips might not buzz properly, I might not articulate the note well, so it's safer to play a bit louder than to play a bit quieter. But if you play really quietly, then everybody goes, ooh, that's effective. That's just the thing with the quieter dynamics, is really pushing it as much as you dare and staying relaxed and control it. Rhythmically, which one I'm talking about, number 3 now, shooting star. Lots of forward momentum in the offbeats here. Offbeats are where you go in between the strong beats. So if the strong beats go 1, 2, 3, 4, the offbeats go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so they were playing kind of on the beat and off the beat. Good listening, good weighting, because when we stress the offbeats, when we stress the weaker ones and make them stronger, we get a thing called syncopation, which is basically what you get a lot in jazz and pop and things like that, and classical music, but it's crucial to how we respond to the music and feel it kind of dancing. Love the tuba playing, very reliable, very mellow sound, very, really, really good, because you need that. In the blues, I thought there was a really energized sense of bounce and you swing phrasing. A tricky walking bass line, but I thought the tuba player got around that very nimbly. So good eye contact on communication, on countings. It would be great to see you expand on this. So we see a lot of eye contact on moments where you're coinciding parts or playing as a little mini section within the group. If you've got an important supporting line, if you've got a transition in the tempo or the dynamics, entries, cut-offs, all these things need loads of communication, and they can be gestural with your instrument, or they can be eye contact, they can be just breathing together. So those are things to really take forward when you don't have a conductor and you're relying on that teamwork. Great, so keep working at finding as much detail as you can. I thought it was a great group. I loved the last couple of, the last jazz pieces as well. Kind of cheeky staccato and legato stuff going on there with your dee-da-da-dum, dee-da-da-dum, kind of jazzy stuff. So polished playing trumpets, bright clear tones, good tuning, trombones, nimble slide work, good position changing, very reliable. Tuba mellow, well articulated, really mature sound. Very secure as a foundation. And horn as well, we must shout out to the horn, because that was really showed a good understanding of the music as well. So keep working at the details, everybody, but there's such good core musicianship developing here that it was a great performance. Thank you. Can someone come forward, please? And we'll give them a huge round of applause.
Great to see you guys as well. We obviously saw each other in Bristol a few months ago. I really enjoyed your conducting as well in the first trumpet. Well, that was very, very clear, getting everyone in on time. Okay, next we had the Northamptonshire County Horn Ensemble. Over here. Okay, there's a few of you over there. Very nice. I imagine you guys have been quite busy. With bands yesterday, brass bands, youth orchestra. Been busy? Yeah? Yeah, you look tired. Yeah? Fine. Stop talking to me. Alright, fine. Okay, you gave us a Madrigal, Monteverdi, and the Simple Gifts. Fantastic intro at the start. It was clear and concise and informative. I like to know that the Monteverdi Madrigal was translated to a bird singing. That made it make more sense to me. So thank you for that. I mean, fantastic choice of programming. Brave. Starting with a Madrigal like that, really high, fast notes, in harmony, nowhere to hide, really bold and decisive, and you did brilliantly with it. So well done, very challenging, lots of overlapping phrases. This music of Monteverdi is really, really complicated. There's entries coming in from all over the place, there's phrasing going up and people in parts going in unison or in thirds, moving around really quickly. It doesn't happen in 4-bar or 8-bar phrases. The phrases are all over the place. And you have to keep track of your part and other people's parts. It's really complicated stuff. It kind of thing that when you look at it, you think, oh, it doesn't look too bad. Well, it's all right. And then you start playing it and you think, hold on, and you're doing this. It becomes this weird, kind of complicated jigsaw that you've got to kind of piece together in your head and hope that everyone else is right. And you were, so this was fantastic. It also showed the incredible range that the horn has. So congratulations to your lower parts that were pumping out those pedal notes, because hitting those and then having to go high, like the workout your chops are having to do to kind of go high and low like that, and to differentiate and get everything out, it's really, really, really tough, so well done. Simple Gifts had a really nice flowing quality to it with excellent intonation. The opening phrase, da 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 da, it was a really nice thing to start, so we kind of knew that it was going to be lovely. It's a lovely, lovely tune. The melodies in this were always clear. It was very relaxed and just lovely to listen to. Some really nice, rich brass playing. It's lovely to hear a group when you know that each of the players has got just a core good sound. It's just a lovely thing to listen to. Nice core sound. And it was particularly good when there were some accented notes which really jumped out, and some semi-quaver runs which really jumped out. And those were some moments that, yeah, we'd love more of that kind of detail. I mean, I love this performance. It was really enjoyable to listen to. There's a lot more stylistically you can do with the Monteverdi. I'd love to have heard when you had the dun 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 da, 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 those kind of phrases. I'd love to hear more confidence. Not confidence is the wrong word. More drama when you come in on those. And for the rest of the group, to know who's next. Okay, it's horn 2 next, and then it's horn 3, so you can create space for each other, and then the entries can be dun 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 dun, really kind of come forward in the texture. And so you have to learn where all the different entries are and all those kind of things. And at the end, the ending has this, is really the first bit in the whole madrigal where all 5 voices are really working hard. I think it'd be interesting to take out the top 2 parts and for the lower 3, 4 and 5 to work on that kind of chordal build that happens towards the end, where you have all these overlapping lines and the harmony gets more fruity and you get these suspensions over the bar lines. If you could rehearse that without the top 2 melody parts to really unify that down, would really help the build of the harmony. But this was some exceptional horn playing. We really enjoyed it. Can we give a massive round of applause to the Northamptonshire County Horn Ensemble?
Okay, now, this is a poignant moment because I've been here for 3 days and had a brilliant time, and this is the last group for me for this year's festival. Amazing. Gwent Harp Ensemble, where are you? You're all over the place. 11 of you, right? I think down to 11, right? Yeah. Brilliant. Lots and lots of great things to admire here. I thought that at the beginning, so they're all going now that's quite a lot of notes, yeah. 6 in each little grouping, but they've all got to do it synchronized with each other. And it's a lot easier to do it by going but when your fingers have got to get the right notes as well, and you've got to stay relaxed. And so I thought that was magic, really, just magical, really lovely. PPP as well. That means very quiet. Pianissimo. Such clarity of articulation, I put amazing, and consistent in pitch, tone, and shaping. It doesn't go, so it's got shaping going on, little arches as well in the music. Then we had the melody notes, which I thought were placed beautifully, because that's what I would say they should be placed. When you place something, go, that goes there, and that goes there. And you're really putting each note gently or sensitively in where it needs to go, and it felt like that. It felt like just lovely placement on top of that bubbling accompaniment. And there were really a sense of clarity and purpose as the melody built. As it got longer, then you had some syncopation. That's where you play on the weaker beats. And they were leaning nicely into the syncopation for that. It was just lovely. I thought it was really, really beautiful. And the ending was a really framed ending. That's the way I would say that is. When you put a picture's not really a picture until it's got a frame. And the way you brought it to an end so perfectly was just like framing the piece. So well done for that. Pachelbelli's, again, wonderful poise and grace in the shaping. We've got lots of arpeggios again. Harps do like arpeggios. But again, lovely placement. Dynamic shading I thought was nice as well. Harps do a lot with tone colour as well, and the way they get different sounds coming out of those strings, depending on how they're using their hands and so on. So that was really hear that. Dynamic shading, melodic placement was good. The weighting was really good as well. Very sensitively done, and a lot of logic in the line. Music has to make sense. A note generally goes to another note. It doesn't just follow it, it goes to it, or it's come from a note. So this kind of what we talk about shaping in music and direction is where it goes. Because you never play two notes the same. No good player does. They're always moving through them so that they have a bit more intensity and so on. So I thought that shaping was really good. And then we got into the reels. The tune's important in a reel, but it's not always the most important aspect of it, especially with a big ensemble who's sitting so far from each other as you were. You're listening like crazy, aren't you? And you're watching as well, because synchronizing everything is tricky. So there was, at times, was it the first tune? Let's see. Which was the tune? It just worked out. The melodic place, yeah, the second tune was a sort of da da, was it da 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 da. So a bit of syncopation and so on there. I thought that was really well weighted. When there are other parts in the music, that's the thing is, whose job is it to keep it all together if there's complicated stuff going on at the same time? Now, I played a huge amount of chamber music in my career. I played in a percussion quartet, and we had a lot of success, won lots of competitions, a big one in Japan, and we won one in New York, and we rehearsed for hours. That's part of it. But one of the things we talk about in rehearsal is, who's the boss here? Who's the boss in this? It might be a section of a piece, because it was never one person. It was always, as I said, changes a lot. And so sometimes you just get it when you're going, oh, it's kind of clear, another part's important, we need to go with that. And sometimes it's not so clear, and you need to kind of nominate and say, look, I'm gonna be the boss here, I'm gonna drive this forward. You guys come with me. And so kind of fixing that sometimes and thinking, okay, if this happens, we go with that. If this, that's really important, basically, to decide at any point who is king, who's the boss in the music at that point. Basically, I think the answer is it's a shared responsibility. Sometimes, we just need to decide on the spur of the moment, but it's never the older player or the most one that's done the most grades or anything like that. It changes. That music doesn't work like that. So keep working at that listening. The tune playing was great though, lots of energy in the actual wheel playing itself. And the tango, I thought tangos are cool, I love tangos. Can anybody dance a tango? You don't have to do it right now, but it's like, there's loads of artistry and flair and attitude, and you know, it's got this kind of very unique form as Argentinian tango. Yeah, there was a place in here I said there was a fill-in phrase that somebody had lowered on. So a fill-in on the drums where you go like, well, everybody knows EastEnders, and then it lands where on the tune, and it starts going dee da dee da. Yeah, right, you got me. Sometimes it happens in music as well. So there was like a dee da 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 dum. Yeah, who had the dee da 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 dum? A few of you in the lower part. And that's for me, that's the important part there. That's so important because it's like the drums, it's going dee da 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 dum, da da. Don't you imagine the tango dancers are like doing a twirl at that point or something? Dee da 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 dum, da da dum dum. So, in the ensemble, never assume the tune's the important part, because there, I think that's so important because it takes us through into the next part. So really work on bringing that out so that we hear the different parts working together. Yeah, in any Latin American music, the bass part is always crucial. It's what really sits on, you know, the music sits on this, and it's often connected with dance, and so it's important, you know, to think about dance and to think about how this music works. So I'm sorry if I've waffled a bit about that, but it was great. But I think if you think even more about that, about the importance of different parts and who to listen to, not always the person on the end, but the one who you decide is important, and that's where to go with that. You're brilliant though, absolutely fantastic. Could listen to it all evening. So absolutely brilliant, and thanks for coming. It's such a treat to hear two harp ensembles. You know, amazing. That's what I said. They're like buses. Two come along at once, and it was brilliant. And to have it either end of the programme. It's been a great session, absolutely great session. Can we have someone come forward, please, from White Harp Ensemble?
Fantastic. So that's the end of the session. Can we please give, I'm not sure if he's here, but there's Tom and Monroe who have been doing the sound and all the tech. Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you so much for your help. Can we please give all of our music leaders who have helped us do all the conducting, all the arranging, moving things around, making sure you're in the right place, all those kind of things. Those guys give a round of applause. Thank you, parents and supporters, for getting everyone here. You know, looking after the musical health of our nation and our young people is really important, so thank you for that. But last of all, let's give our performers a lovely round of applause for good stuff. We wish you a safe on the journey and look forward to seeing you.